Hello everyone, trying to get back to you on the S10 project. We got a KDC BT948 HD head unit here for the S10 project. Which were pretty good head unit. I liked it because it had the five line display. Moving on, we got the 2-channel amp, which is a KAC7205, which we're going to use for the two sets of components in the doors, and then we have two of the 9105D of the KACs, which we're going to use 1 amp for each set of subs. Here are the components that we're going to put in the door, which is the KFC P709PS. We have two sets of those, which are going to actually go on the door. And then up here on top, we have our iPod cable, which we ordered just so we can have our iPod in the glove box and be able to control the music from our iPod through the head unit. So mostly this is our system. And just to refresh our memory, these are the 412s that we're going to do in the back of the S10 project for 2 of these going on each one of those amps that we showed you a couple seconds ago. But these are 400 watts RMS a piece, 1200 watts peak, so we're running about 800 watts into each set. And let's go over to the truck here real quick. So before we started, we need to eliminate the window crank here, as you can see, so we have more room to actually add the component speakers into the doors. As you can see, this is where the old 6x9s went, which we never finished, but we're going to definitely finish these doors this time with the components. Over here on the hood of the truck, we have the power window kit, which we're going to install to eliminate the window cranks. We have 2 motors, the main harness going to the motors, the power window switches, the actual brackets for the power window switches, which we're going to actually, once we get mounted, they're going to be fiberglass into the door, so they'll look part of the door panel. The actual power window harness, the brackets and screws and everything for the motors and the crank setup, the gears, that universal gears that actually mount onto the where the window crank went, and other little parts. So mostly just our power window kit. Go back to the door. Again, this is what we started with the 6x9, but we never finished it. But we will finish the new door panels when we get there. Alright, so we got the door panel off. And as you can see, we got all the power door lock wires and speaker wires are still in the door panel. And you got both wires going through the door jamb right here, which you can kind of see. Which we're going to have to make the hole just a little bit bigger so we can get that for power window wire through there. So we got the window crank mounted, or to the actual end motor and everything mounted to the door. We had to do a little bit of cutting right there to get the motor to fit. And then there's the wire for the actual motor. Got the bracket and everything mounted to the door. We got the passenger side door done, so everything looks pretty good. We had to do a little bit more cutting with the motor areas at again, and then once we got all the brackets mounted, got the wire in there, and everything buttoned up pretty tight. Moving along. As you can see, we got the driver's door matching the passenger door, so everything is almost in the exact same position. I'm sure it's off by a centimeter, which is can't really notice unless you really focus on them, but we try our best to get everything to match exactly the same when we do our installs. Alright, now we're back onto the driver's door. We got the actual main harness going into the door. We have to run everything through the door jamb here. As you can see, we got everything all buttoned up and cleaned up right here with the wire ties. So if you look at it from a distance, you're going to see it looks like one set of wires going through the door. You got the driver door switch mounted. We did our test with the portable battery, and when the motor worked just fine. We got the main harness here, which is a quick connect if we ever need to take anything out. And you see the main wire, the wire from the motor connected to the switch. And we got a power door lock wire which we use for our alarm systems, where we on the alarm and locks the doors. Which later on we're going to actually run another set of wires and put a unlock and lock switch in the center console. Moving on into the kick panel, we got the black and red wire, which is our power and our ground wire. And these three set of wires are actually the wires that are going to the passenger door that we got to run straight across. Everything looks pretty good. And now we're back onto the passenger door. We got all the wires ran into the passenger door through the door jamb. And all buttoned up and wire tied. Make it look like it's one harness. All cleaned up inside here. And then our power window switch for the passenger door. Power lock wires all hooked up again. We had to reroute that wire. Back to the driver's door. Just taking a look at it, getting ready to do some tests because we got the power wires all hooked up. Give you an idea where we're going to put the switches. The switches are actually mounted right there on the door panel to where you get the bottom of the power window or passenger and driver door switch. So when we actually do these, there will be all fiberglass into one piece. So when you look at it, it'll be like all one piece, like factory. So where it's just molded in together. We had to cut a hole in there for the motor. The motor took out just a little bit just to clear the actual window bracket. So when we fiberglass that, it will just cover up that hole again. So it'll be all one piece again. And there's the passenger door switch, which is where the passenger door switch is going to go. Let's go ahead and show you how the windows work. We got here the driver door power window switch. Window goes up. The window back down. Runs pretty smoothly. We still got to do some little bit more repair to the actual guide of the window because the truck is pretty old. So we're going to replace all the window guides and everything else and grease everything up before we put everything back together on both of these door panels. And then here goes the passenger door. Window goes down, which you can barely see, but we'll show you the actual bracket inside the door so you can see it go up and down. There goes the bracket going up. So mostly what we're going to do is just go ahead and button up and call it a day for this video. Our next video will probably be either doing the fiberglass and getting the components mounted to the door panels, or If you have any ideas how we should do the box for the 412s and 3 amps and everything behind the seat, go ahead and send us an email to redsaudio@AOL.com. We would like to hear your input and try to get some ideas how we're going to do it. But the power window part is mostly done, so we can get ready to do our components and door panels. Go back to the door panel here and show you getting an idea. This whole area that what we have to work with. By removing the window crank, that gives us the pretty good area to put 2 sets of components. So once we get those door panels back on with the components, we'll have both 2 sets 6.5 pointed at the driver or passenger or whatever side of the vehicle you're on. That's mostly it for the power window kit. All installed and ready to go. All we got to do is just door panel together and mount the switches, and power windows are all done. Thank you for watching.